day, all the way. No matter how long I got to wait, no matter how messed up my schedule has to get rearranged and stuff like that. No, it's local. It's no chain whatsoever.
I like that. That's inspiring, dude.
No, I can't do it. No chain.
That's like especially when you're hungry and then you get hangry.
Yeah.
And like you talking about going on some
big fast. So I'm fasting normally anyway, 16-hour a day fast.
Oh, you do the intermittent fasting?
Yeah, well, yeah. But
you give yourself an 8-hour window? Or?
Fluctuates, yeah. Okay. So like normally I would like to do it from noon to 6. So 6 hours.
Okay.
But sometimes dinner's later.
Yeah.
But 16 hours like what I do. So if you have to bump that up again, I don't have a problem like flipping the switch and I'll go starvation mode, right? Which I don't recommend anyone to do. But as far as like morally what I like to support and what I like to give the money that I worked hard for, it's got to go to something that I believe in. And that's it.
You ever get into arguments, or I know you said sometimes you're stubborn, but you ever get to a place where people are like, yo, we need to eat, and this is like, you ever been in that position where you're like,
all the time?
Yeah.
And they eat and I don't. So like, for example, we go to Guatemala every year. You go to Panajachel, do mission trips. So that flight and that whole day leading up, like leaving the house at 3 a.m., not eating, and then taking the however long 5-hour flight, and then taking the 8-hour drive from Mexico City to Panajachel. They stop at this pit stop at Pollo Campero. We have one up here in the Northeast. We don't have one in Philly, I don't think. Maybe it's in Jersey. It's across a bridge in Jersey. And this is just an example of like everyone's starving. We're going on a 3 a.m. to like 9 a.m. airport weird thing happening, connecting flight 9 a.m. and then another 4 hours.
Time zone changes.
Time zone changes, and then like an 8-hour drive from the airport down there to where we actually have to be. And we always stop at Pollo Campero. That's where the van stops every time. Mm-hmm. And I'm starving, dying starving, right? At least what I think is dying starving. Yeah. And
because it's not like you're just sitting down and not eating. You're like moving around,
no
traveling,
sleep.
sleep.
Right. And
you're hungry.
No, but that's for an example. Mike, you got to eat. No, I'm not eating until we get there. And then I'll pop open maybe a Quest bar, right? But that's just a little snack because that's how I survive down there. But I don't know. That's just a small example. I'll never interfere with anyone's plans. Like I drove past Chick-fil-A the other day on the way back home from York. Yeah, me and my girl were leaving her hometown, and she wanted Chick-fil-A so bad, right? And right by it. Yeah. And she got genuinely upset. She's like, "What are you doing? I'm starving. We're not gonna get home till 9:30. Nothing's gonna be open. You know what I mean?" And I was like, "Are you serious? You really want Chick-fil-A?" And she's like, genuinely got mad at me. You know what I mean? And she's like, which I see it perfectly. She's like, "You just drove by it. I told you I'm hungry." I was like, "Oh man."
Papa Ewing.
Yeah. All right, so we go in now here. I'm sitting at the drive-through window. Yay, can I get a blah, blah, blah with the nuggets with a fry? I never ate at Chick-fil-A before. Side note. But, so, I'm starving. You know what I mean?
Kev out there, his jaws open.
Yeah,
what?
Never ate at Chick-fil-A. And it's one of those things that I never done. And I want to keep it that way. Because, like, I've never done it, so I want to, like, never do it. I don't know if that makes sense.
You want that reaction every time you say it.
And, but no, I hit a U-turn, and now I'm sitting there ordering at the window like an asshole. I feel like I'm committing a sin, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I'll get this and
going against your morals, man. You made a promise to yourself.
Right. So I get a list of food, and she's happy as a clam, so I'm fine, but I'm not eating, and I'm starving. So I went home and ate a watermelon. I didn't want to eat a watermelon. I wanted Love and Honey Fried Chicken in Fishtown here. Yeah. But it's too late. Closed. Sold out. Yeah. And but no.
Dude, that's a hard thing to do, bro. That is a really hard thing to do.
I don't know if that's like how I was supposed to answer that question, but you said like if you ever get in like an argument over missing out. Yeah, those are like those are examples just recently that happened. Like,
you don't have any kids, do you?
No kids.
Oh boy,
no.
You plan on having any kids at all?
Later.
Later. Because if she's gonna have them cravings,
later,
you're gonna.
I think we both have those cravings right now. We both.
Yeah, but it seems like you got your shit intact and down packed.
Well, no. So the girl always has to get what she wants because the girls are the best. You know what I mean? Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I can't relate to it. But you're talking about cravings and stuff like that. I was like, oh man. She really gonna want the Chick-fil-A, but but no, I don't know. And then it's like we talk about that stuff too. Like I was like, I always imagine having a kid and stuff, and someone Like even when I was growing up, you stop and get a McDonald's, you stop and get a this. I was like, what can I do differently when that time comes? You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see when that bridge comes. When it comes.
And not for nothing, but it's better quality food.
Right.
You eating, at those restaurants.
Right. Sure. Of course. Yeah. Better sourcing. And that's what it's about. I try to find a bunch of places. Like after this podcast, I need to go get lunch. I'm going to go stop at a Taiwanese place called Biology. And Judy Nee and her husband Andy run that place. It's the best sourced restaurant in the city. Yeah. It's incredible. Their knowledge there is just nuts.
What happens when you're starving, and you go to a restaurant you've never been to and the food's not that great?
So that's a strange question because I can't really think of a time where I was starving, and then went somewhere that it wasn't that good recently. But there's a time where I'll answer it in a different way. So prior to say how we just planned this, like a couple weeks ago or whatever, we planned to go eat with my buddy. Okay, so he wants to eat brunch late. It was like 12:30 brunch, so I didn't eat. Obviously, didn't eat. I'm getting really hungry. We go to this place. It's like a bar somewhere right up here. It's like a bar for brunch. I'm not going to mention the name. I don't remember it. And B, it was the worst meal of 2019. No, boy. Yeah, real bad. So I pulled up, and I was like, oh, boy, this ain't good. Like, this is kind of what we were talking about before. I was like, I know this ain't going to be good. You could just tell. And I expected to come up here and get like corner store or like a mom and pop. I was ready. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to be like something good and something authentic. Pulled up to this like dive bar looking place. I was like, nah, I've had some of the best food in quote unquote dive bar places. But this one, you just tell, I was like, not a reliable source. You know what I mean? I checked it out on the pictures and the reviews. And we pulled up. I was starving. The food was terrible. Didn't eat it. One bite, trash. I knew. You know what I mean? I didn't want to waste like my special day, to eat like that. You know what I mean? That week specifically because I was dieting. You know what I mean? And didn't want to have it. So that's really the only relatable time. It's like I try to not set myself up for failure like that, and I always have a backup. Well, if for something like that, we ate a couple bites, left that place, and then ate again. You know what I mean? But normally, if I know like something's sketchy, I'll always have a backup plan, especially meeting up with people. Because if we just met and you're like, yo, we should go eat, and then do this podcast or whatever, I'm gonna be like, all right, let's go wherever you want. You know what I mean? But I'm like, if this isn't good, then I need to have a backup plan because I don't want to die. You know what I mean? So it's
with you traveling around, you pretty much got a little bit of a layout of the land, so knowing where
right, and plus I know like where's to go before I even go to that spot. You know what I mean? Like what's good there and what's in the neighborhood and where I'd be interested in already. That's part of like my closed off mind part of it. Until like someone like trustworthy, I'd be like, all right, yeah, he's right. This place is banging. You know what I mean? Cool. But I don't know. There's not really any time where besides that where like I was starving. You know what I mean? And pulled up and it was trash. Just trying not to be in that situation in the first place.
Now what have you had any restaurants that you've been to that have took you away in the sense of not only just the food was good, but the fact that they're doing stuff for the community or they like perfect example, the block shop. Right. You guys got everybody in contact to help feed the block, and it was a special event and everybody loved it, especially because it was cheese.
Right. Yeah. No, everyone's going crazy. To answer that, I would like to say like some of the most charitable people in the city, who are also some of my favorite places to go, is Sully Mays in Fishtown on Girard. It's a breakfast spot. They're doing so much for the community all the time with no, like right now with no money, with like the, I don't know how to put this in the like to stress it enough, but they're not getting like any funds. They're feeding homeless all the time. They do so much work for the community all the time. Sully Mays, shout out Chad and his wife. But Biology that I just mentioned, they're always working with different organizations, like on a weekly basis, maybe even on a daily basis, to feed homeless meals everywhere. Angelo's is always donating. Shout out Danny is always donating places left and right. And without a care. Like if it's helping someone, he's handing it out, just like those restaurants
That's
I mentioned
cool,
before.
yeah.
But there's a bunch. You can go right down the list. A lot of a place that doesn't get as much love as it should is Stina Pizzeria. I guess it's considered like a Greek restaurant, but they do pizza, amazing Greek dishes too. I'm pretty sure like portions of their proceeds for every meal like get donated. They're super charitable too, and they're super under the radar. I didn't even check in like with them or their Instagram page or anything during COVID, but I imagine it's tough for them right now, especially like giving back. Everything they get, they're giving away. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know, but there's a lot of people in Philadelphia that do that restaurant wise. A lot of people who give back. That's kind of what we tried to start turning the page into not too long ago, like when COVID started. And I wanted to like start reaching out and doing even more things different. You know what I mean? So raising funds, or like deeply connected to ACCT, PSPCA, doggy style pets. So now we're getting into the animal side of thing and adopt, don't shop. Then we are getting into the topics that are hot right now. I'm getting educated on civil rights stuff left and right. People sending me stuff left and right. People opening my eyes. Like, obviously, like you have no idea. You know what I mean? Unless you're able to walk in the shoes or just be quiet because you don't know what anyone's talking about. You know what I mean? So now, like, for example, the Pizza Shacks and Maxon's another charitable who's like leading the charge. And like, as soon as like the George Floyd stuff hit, they were like one of the first restaurants to be like, all right, we're raising funds. So like we piggybacked off of that and raised funds for them. And so it was cool to like get into that thing. And I wanted to start turning Pancakes and Protein Shakes into things that can raise money for all these different things. We're doing stuff for people who lost tip jars. We're doing stuff for animal adoption and what they need and supplies for what they need. Topics that are like on the front burner. It motivated us at that time, you know what I mean, to start getting like this following, to not only put money into maybe like a fashion store I like, or someone I have a relationship with, a restaurant, but like the things that
really matter,
real things,
that are working towards a bigger goal.
Right to the big picture. So if it's gonna work, because there's been crazy feedback. For example, like when we do our merch drops, the last merch drop, which I just put out, I don't know, last week of July or something like that. We had a hat and 2 different shirts, so 3 items combined, and each item went to a different organization. So we did dad hats, and the dad hats not only paid off the huge price it cost to make, then they went on to do $500 in profits that were donated to West Philly Bunny Hop, which is an organization that feeds the homeless all the time. We did a Pride shirt, and a Pride shirt went on, I have to look at my notes, but the Pride shirt went on to do $600 in profits after it paid off the huge amount of shirts that it got. Then $600 to the Trevor Project, and the Trevor Project, just look up at Trevor Project. It is a fantastic organization for LGBTQ community, with like suicide prevention and mental health awareness and things like that. Then I did another shirt in that drop with my buddy Charles at Zip Off Pants. He made a Goat Club shirt. It's like a collab shirt of all my favorite restaurants who are in my Goat Club. And those went to an organization that him and his wifey picked out, the Evo Lure House, and that's empowering young women from urban neighborhoods through educational services. Shout out Evo Lure House. You can look that up, EVOLUERHOUSE. So we were going to do their Amazon wish list, but those shirts were able to raise $675 on top of paying off the shirt itself. $675 in profits, and we slid that over to them the other day. So if we can keep raising money in these kind of ways, and like I said, like we don't get anything out of it. I don't want anything.
Are you doing fundraisers to get the?
Well, that's kind of what it is. So like I was selling the shirts and the hats. Mm-hmm. The real shit came really when I just started putting it on my story, like the ACLU and the NAACP legal fund, the legal fund. We raised $1,500 on my story through my Venmo in like 3 hours. Wow. I was like, what? And
it's big.
Oh no! So the ACLU, the NAACP was $1,000 in like 3 hours. It came out to like $1,010, $1,020. I was like, what the hell? I was like,